Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm your host, the Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about random weirdos yet again showing up to my door here at the apartment complex. So, about 45 minutes ago or so, give or take, it's right around 6:15, I believe. I was sitting here just chilling. I was trying to do stuff, obviously. Gaming related is what it was, and I was watching YouTube videos all the time. And all of a sudden, I start hearing like a little kind of like tapping, and I'm like, is somebody knocking a nail into a wall? Like, what's going on? Is somebody moving over here? And they're like trying to put a picture. Like, what the fuck's happening here? And at first, I was like, yeah, what the hell's going on? And then I realized after about like a minute or two that it was somebody knocking on my door. And I'm like, why are they basically like low tapping on my door? Like, this is just weird. And obviously my first instinct should have been, grab the old pew pew and go to the door right then and there is what it was. And so I just like I went over to the door and I pulled back the curtains just enough to where I could see if there's anybody out there, because it wasn't registering on my doorbell camera is what it is. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the camera itself is not, it's on this side of the door, whereas the other side of the door would have been where it needs to be, to catch anybody that's like right there is what it is. And I'm thinking this guy knows that I have a doorbell camera is what it is, because he didn't open my door, which I thought was kind of weird, because you would think, like, really truthfully, if you were trying to get somebody to like, answer a door, you'd be like, hey, like, let me go ahead and knock on their door and like open the door up and stuff like that, like knock on the like internal doors, what it is there, whatever, so they can know that there's somebody there, whatever. I think there's been a few times where I can't remember if I've done that with my neighbor guy over there or not, or if it was something else that I was doing. But yeah, I think I knocked on his door like a week or two ago. I think it was maybe something else, so I'm not sure honestly, but I don't know. Like, I know I knocked on his door the other day, but I just can't remember if it was me knocking in such a way where it would have been like an actual like knock knock kind of thing or whatever, or if it was something where it would have been me like knocking like this dude was knocking basically. And I think maybe it was that way. So, but either way, it doesn't matter. The whole point I'm trying to make, though, is that it was just a weird deal either way. And the fact that the time that he was doing it is highly suspicious to me, because my feeling on it is like, why are you knocking at my door at like 20 minutes before sundown, basically, instead of like middle of the day, basically, is what it is there. And then number two, what the fuck do you want is what it is. So, and I'm trying to remember now, because I know I've had this happen before at least once. And I can't remember if it was the same black dude or if it would have been a different black dude who was trying to pull some like scammer shit. And I'm not sure with this guy if it was something like that or if it was like him maybe involved in something. So, I don't know. By the way, just to be clear on that one, when I say involved in something, what I mean is like if he was like a registered sex offender or something moving into the complex or something like that, or if it was like a situation where he was like, and the reason I say that is obviously because when I looked out, he had apparently gone around to the other side of this 4-unit complex, and I think he was trying to knock on some of the other doors that was there. And the thing with that was, I'm pretty sure he had a clipboard in his hand, because when I looked out, and he was apparently walking back on the sidewalk here, by B unit there is what it is. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, is he trying to sell something, or is he trying to like collect signatures or something, or is he actually like an actual offender and is like trying to tell people whatever the case be? Which that would again make sense why he would have been, hesitant to knock loudly, because let's say the guy was a registered sex offender or whatever the case be, like, You know, are you really going to want people to like know that or whatever the case be? And obviously with that, when you're moving into a place, if you are, you know, on the offender list, like that's what it is, you're supposed to inform all the people is what it is. And it kind of makes you wonder if it was something like that. And then he was doing it like really lightly because he was trying to get away with something, and claim like later on that it was like, oh yeah, I totally knocked on everybody's door, whatever, but nobody answered or whatever it was then. So I don't know. It's just really weird either way, and it's bothersome to me is what it is, dude. Because like I said, like why the hell are you really knocking on my door, dude? Number one, and then just the way that you're knocking, like why are you basically weirdly tapping is what it is there. Like you're trying to like nail a nail into a wall very like lightly is what it is. So I don't know. Seems highly suspicious. Also, you would think if it was something um, where he was like, let's say it wasn't anything nefarious, and he actually was just like maybe he was one of these guys trying to collect like weed signatures or something like that for the weed amendment that's going on in the ballot now is what it is. Like let's say he was doing that or whatever the case be, right? Why wouldn't you have left like a card or like even like a piece of paper or something like that, being like, hey, if you're interested, like I live at this unit or whatever over here is what it is or something. So yeah, it just feels highly suspicious to me in general. But needless to say, like when I went in the time between me looking out and seeing he was standing there, like fooling around on his phone is what it was there, and then coming back over here, which is maybe like 15 seconds or so, to then grab my, 2A stick out of the bag I have it sitting here right now, and going back over there, which is about another 10 to 15 seconds, so it was about maybe 30-second turnaround or whatever. He had apparently walked away then. So, again, don't know what the fuck he wanted, but if nothing else, I figure I will talk to the neighbor guy over that way who has cameras out everywhere and see if his camera didn't pick up something and being like, hey, do you know who the fuck this guy is? Or like, is he a threat or whatever the case be? So I don't think he really is a threat because I think he would have, well, first off, I think he would have knocked a lot louder is what it is then. But like I said, I think it's just very suspicious that he was like randomly coming around like right before dark is what it is. And it could be, and it could be, again, it could be nothing nefarious at all. It could just be him, being like, oh, I need to go do this or whatever the case be, but he had work or something is what it was. And so he's doing it after work or something. But at the same time, it's just like, again, like, why are you knocking on my door at all is what it is. So, yeah, just highly suspicious in general. And the reason I bring all this up, obviously, is because here, a couple weeks ago, you now had current state rep who was trying to run for U.S. Congress against Marcy Kaptur, Josh Williams. And when I say run against her, obviously he's trying to run the Republican primary to eventually be in the general election against her potentially. He is trying to put through a new law here in the state of Ohio for racist stuff is what it is, for hate crime shit is what it is there. When the state of Ohio already has ethnic intimidation laws on the books is what it is. And the thing about that is too, as well, is like the biggest problem right now that I personally have seen with our current ethnic intimidation laws is which is basically hate crime at that point. So it was about a year or so ago now, back in I think it was like January, February of last year, there was an incident down in Cincinnati, Ohio, near one of these black ghettos that exist down there. And it was a bunch of like that blood tribe group or whatever they call themselves. There's like obviously the Fed guys is what it is there. They were trying to pull some shit down there, like some random bridge crossing or whatever, where they were putting up like some random signage or whatever it was for like basically. I can't remember if it was like a pro-white power sign or not. I think maybe it was just like a random like whites won't be replaced or something like that kind of deal or something like that's what it was. But either way, it was basically them trying to kind of start shit is what it is. And like kick something off. And then, of course, what did it lead to? It led to a bunch of actual black supremacists in that neighborhood going around and pulling out guns and literally stopping white drivers from coming around the neighborhood is what it was there. Actually committing ethnic intimidation in the state of Ohio, by definition, is what it is there. because they were threatening people's lives and illegally detaining them and stuff like that. Really, they could catch a couple of their charges on that one, because one of them would have been intimidation, another one would have been a false imprisonment and stuff like that, which is a high level felony in the state. Not to mention kidnapping and things like that. So yeah, it's just very suspicious in general. There was like, you know, all that shit going on there is what it is, and nobody was charged with anything there. And of course, you got Josh being all like, specifically, you got Josh Williams, he was being all like, oh, well, I've been called the N-word here and there, and then he's basically saying, like, he's been called it more now since he's been a state rep or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, and how about you admit who's calling you these things, dude? Because I guarantee it's a bunch of Democrats saying that shit to you. So, I guarantee it ain't a bunch of mega Republicans saying that shit, dude. So, but yeah, it's just stupid in general, and Actual Justice Word did a whole, I think it was like 30-40 minute video about this like a day or two ago. And yeah, it's just a stupid thing in general, dude. Like, because we all know the truth of the matter at the end of the day. Like, all these so-called hate crime laws, dude, they never actually catch the real offenders. Who they go after is it's a bunch of attack on white people is what it is then. To fuck us over and try to fuck our rights over and stuff like that is what it is there. So, because God forbid, you drop an N-bomb when you're, fighting back against some fucking Hawaiian or whatever in the street and stuff like that, who literally is trying to assault you and kill you. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of shit in general. And it's funny to me, too, because going on that aspect of things, Josh never said a damn word when he was doing the testifying stuff about this whole thing to create this law to begin with for hate crime stuff. He never said a fucking word about the Cincinnati attack a little over a year ago now, or sorry, not a year ago now, almost a year ago now, because it would have been summer of 2025 when it happened, when you had that group of blacks beat the fuck out of a bunch of white people, so it is then. So, but yeah, it's very interesting to me that you'll never have these people actually admit the real problem in our society. And going back, full circle to what I was saying this whole time is what it is then. Yeah, don't show up at my door like an hour ago, dude. And think I'm going to answer the shit and not be like, who the fuck are you? Which, if I had thought better, but I should have just said, who the fuck are you? I should have just popped my thing down or whatever the case be. But the thing is, too, like, you would think as well on that aspect of things, like, okay, if I have both my curtains up on my window for my door, like, maybe I don't want to be bothered, So I'm half thinking about right now, just like taking a piece of paper here, if I can find one of my notepads pretty soon, and just like writing like no solicitation or something on it, and then just simply taking like a piece of duct tape or a piece of electrical tape or something like that, and just taping that shit to the inside of my screen door or something like that outside the unit there is what it is. So that way it's not going to get fucked up or whatever from like rain and snow and shit. So, I don't know. I don't know if I should do that or not, because I'm only going to be here a few more months anyway at most. So, it's hard to say. But, yeah, like I said, that was really bothersome either way. And, like, it really does go to the aspect of things of, like, yeah, who the fuck are you, dude? Like, what the fuck do you want? Like, maybe knock a little louder. I don't know. Like, the whole thing just feels off, is what it is. So I don't know if this dude was, like, casing places or what the fuck was going on under, like, a gaze of something, or if he actually was legitimately trying to do something. But, again, like, why would you come around, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to solicit like that, or whatever the case be, which I'm pretty sure, honestly, I'm debating about contacting the landlord on this one, because I'm pretty sure in the contracts that we sign here, there is specifically a thing in there about like no solicitation or whatever the case be. So if this guy actually does live in the complex, like, it ain't cool, bro. So, and again, if you're going to do solicitation stuff like that, like, why wouldn't you just go to like a Walmart or something like that? That's what it is there, like a Kroger or a Meijer or something in the area, and just sit outside for like the day or whatever the case be, and collect signatures that way is what it is then or something. Like, it just seems highly suspicious that you would go, just like around to like random housing units and like knock on doors and shit like that. So, but like I said, I figure I will. I'll talk to the guy that lives caddy corner there, who has cameras everywhere around here. Sometime tomorrow, maybe I'll just leave him my net or something like that. That'll be the case then. If he's not home, I go out there to go shoot the shit with him or whatever, and then see if there's like just leave a note with my number on it and be like, hey, it's Adam from unit whatever. Need to talk to you about something. Here's my number. Give me a call whenever you get a chance, or something like that. So, and see if he knows anything about what was going on with this guy or whatever then. So, who knows? But either way, like I said, very suspicious in general, and just, yeah, like, why the fuck are you here now kind of thing is what it is, dude. Like that's a problem. Like, that's probably my biggest problem with people in general, dude. It's like, I swear to God, like, some people have like no concept of time or like personal awareness of like, don't bother people in the middle of the afternoon or early evening or whatever the case be. So, because that's what it kind of feels like in that dude's case. Like, it's like, yeah, dude, like, why the hell are you bothering me around like dinner time? Number one. And then number two, why are you doing it like super low tapping kind of shit like that, where I can like barely hear you? So it does make me think this dude might be like on a list or something, if that'd be the case, and was trying to inform like new neighbors that like he's on a list or something, but like refused to do it loud enough to actually inform them properly is what it is then. So I hope that's not the case, honestly. I would hate to think that's the case because, I really don't want to be living in a complex with a bunch of fucking predators around is what it is. Or even just one predator, even for that matter. And I guarantee other people won't either, because I've talked about it before on this channel, like, literally, like, the way these complexes are set up, there is, my understanding, the first one over that way, it is an old woman who's been there for a bunch of years. There is that Randy guy that got my stuff that time. There is Connor on the other side, who's the buddy of Mickey here. And then I'm not sure who the fourth person is in that complex. And then right now, in this complex, is myself in this unit. The other unit back here that's empty right now, that's been on the market for about 14 days or so, give or take, and it's probably going to be taken sometime this month, is my guess. Or maybe early next month, depending. And then over there is Mickey, and then next to him is Charles, who is who I'm going to talk to in the next day or so is what it is here. And then from there, the complex that is, or 4-unit complex that is next to me here, is an old black woman who I've never met and I barely ever see go out of her place. There is the couple and their kids that live next to her, and they used to live in this unit. Then there was a unit behind them that is now for rent, who I'm not so sure if that wasn't a black family there that moved out of that one, or if it was people next to them. And then there was the black family in one of those other two is what it is then. And then there's a bunch of other ones down further where there was like some Latino woman and her kids who may or may not have been legal in this country. And then a bunch of other folks down further. I know the ones down by the mailboxes there, it's like a bunch of younger college kids that live in those ones is what it is there, from what I've seen. And then there's a couple older people that live in the farther ones then too, by the mailboxes there as well. So yeah, I've never actually gone around and like met everybody in person or anything like that, or had any kind of like, hey, I'm the new neighbor guy, or whatever, like down further or whatever. Because why the fuck would I? But yeah, it's like a whole thing. So it's hard to say, man. But either way, like I said, it's very suspicious to me that you wouldn't like leave something like I said, even if you're gonna create like a card or something for that matter. Like, leave something, dude. Like, don't just, knock on my door out of nowhere and then just like walk away and like act like it's not weird as fuck, basically. So I don't know. People just bother the shit out of me, honestly. So but yeah, I've been looking at places recently, and unfortunately the one I was looking at before, I really should have called that guy up and tried to get that one this month, because that's now off the market. There's another one in that area that's also about $850 a month, but it doesn't have actual pictures to it yet, so I have to go make a whole deal on that one. And if I wanted to go check that out and see if there's a way to get that one, maybe before the end of the month is what it is then. And then obviously do other things is what it is there. The problem there is obviously as well as, getting motivated enough to actually want to move out of here before end of the month potentially. I don't think that's going to happen. So like I said, I think really it's going to be a situation of me just contacting the landlord here in the next day or so and just being like, hey man, and setting up like a month-to-month kind of situation or whatever it is there, and hopefully he's not going to try and jerk me around or whatever the case be then, because that would suck. But who knows? It's hard to say with that dude. Like, he's been kind of an asshole here in the last couple of months, like I said, when I had that clog in my toilet and stuff, and then being like, well, it's your problem now, dude. And it's like, what the fuck? When there's literally nothing in our actual contract about that at all. It's just that there's a functioning toilet, and the fact of the matter is, like, there was not a functioning toilet because of what happened there is what it is. So I don't know. But like I said, this is why I'm armed at all times. This is why I now have a bar that locks up underneath my front door there is what it is, which I've talked about that before. I'm going to go, this is going to be a shameless plug actually right now. I'm going to go to Amazon and just show you guys the bar that I bought. If you want to get the same thing for yourself, you're in a neighborhood where you don't really trust everybody is what it is there. So trying to remember which one is I bought now. Yeah, there's like a million different bars. Oh, here you go. There it is. Yeah, so the one I bought was this guy right here. Pull up the thing there. Yeah, it's this right here, the Security Man 3-in-1 door security bar, security door stoppers, door barricade, heavy duty, etc., etc. What's nice about this one is the way it's set up. It has basically, it comes with a little stopper thing on top there that you put underneath the handle, and then it comes with a little foot thing that you shove in place too there. But what's nice is you can actually do it differently, because those are not attached initially when they come, and you basically put it all together as a thing, and then you put it like that, or you can do like an actual different way where you can actually do, you can take this piece, the top piece there off, and put a little it's like a little like rubber thing on each side of it is what it is. It comes with two, and you can shove that into door or into the tracks of sliding glass doors or even windows for that matter. So it's very universal like that. This one is 20, and then it's got a 10% off code, so it's like 18. You also have 2-packs that are like 35, which is, I think, a better deal, honestly, because you're actually paying less in the long run if you need multiple layers, what it is. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what's running my door all the time now, unless I'm out, is what it is. And then it's, I still have cameras and stuff, is what it is then. So if anybody were to ever break in or whatever the case be, I still got my cameras going. So good luck to them is what it is there. To not get caught, because they're definitely going to get caught on camera. So, and that's more or less just, for security purposes, what it is there. Not to mention the fact if I ever get into a situation where I would need that to be, on my side for some reason or another. I'm not saying that will, but, I don't think anybody ever wants to get into a deadly conflict, but, if something were to happen like that or whatever it is there, like I want to have it be a situation where I know for a fact I'm going to have, be like, oh yeah, this dude come up behind me and like try to like jump me or whatever the case be, not defending myself kind of situations what it is there. It's all kind of camera versus, oh, I end up shooting some dude in self-defense and then there's no camera footage of whatever the case be, and then it's basically my word versus, the deceased or whatever then. So, and we all know in this society that we live in now, it's just a shit show where, people are looking for any reason to charge for anything. I mean, hell, look at Daniel Perry in Texas. Dude defended himself against a BLM terrorist, and they still try to reward his ass because it was some fucking piece of shit DA named Jose Garza, who was an anchor baby who ran on that exact platform trying to fuck over Perry's freedom is what it is there. So, unfortunately in our society now, you can't even trust not being charged after the fact when you're already basically acquitted. So, because the left is going to do what the left wants to do is what it is, and then same kind of leftists that are out there doing that same bullshit that are then, defending idiotic fucking career criminals and letting these career criminal pieces of shit go when they're doing hardcore crimes like that is what it is, dude. So, like multiple rapes, multiple murders, etc. There's what it is. Hell, I mean, there was that one guy in Chicago a couple months ago who was busted, who was literally told by the judge from the DA that this guy was a threat to society. Dude had a rap sheet going back to the 90s, over 30 years, was a known arsonist, and this dumb bitch fucking judge was like, oh no, he deserves a second chance after I would have getting like 30 different chances what it is there. And then dude proceeded to literally go buy a fucking, I think it was like a 20-ounce bottle worth of gas or something, go on a subway, spray it on some white girl and lit her on fire is what it is then. So, and again, it's shit like that we need to, this is why we need to charge these judges, dude. Like they need to be not only disbarred for life, they need to be charged criminally with the crimes that these people that are letting go commit. Because enough is enough of this shit, dude. So, our justice system is already fucked as it is. Like, we don't need to fuck it even more than what it is there, man, with having a bunch of idiot activists that shouldn't even be in the judge roles or DA roles in those places. And this is what I've said for years now. We need to auto-defuse on every seat of power in this country, dude. Or if you do X, Y, and Z, or if you're, attacking the Second Amendment, or if you're Islamic, followers and stuff like that, you need to kick out of office immediately is what it is then. So, or if you're letting career criminals off the hook, again, like, boot them the fuck out. Boot them the fuck out for life is what it is. And we're better off as a society is what it is after that aspect of things. So, anyway. But yeah, like I said, though, it was just really creepy to have, like, some rando just, like the thing, and the thing is, I think the creepiest part of it was, it's not the fact that he was, like, knocking on my door, like, right before sunset, or during sunset, basically, what it was there. It was the fact that he was knocking, like that, basically. I'm assuming you guys can hear that in the mic, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it was just, like super low knocking, basically, where it was, like, it was almost like he was taking, like, his finger and just, like, tapping or something. Like, it was just weird. So, which again, you would think if you wanted, like, potential neighbors' attention, you would, like, I don't know, actually sit there and, like, knock on their door, or even open their door and, like, knock on the inner door, whatever the case be, and then let the screen door go is what it is. Like a normal person would knock, not like some fucking, weirdo with like 3 or 4 buddies like waiting around the corner to like jump you or whatever he speaks. That's what I kind of thought for a minute actually. So that's why I went up my door. I had my my 2A armament in one hand, and I was slowly opening the door in the other hand. I was like, you know, kind of looking out like that's what it is there. So I realized too today that I definitely need to work on my combat skills, is what it is, specifically for like close range combat is what it is then, because that's one thing I'm definitely lacking in right now. So yeah, definitely need to work on that, is what it is then. But who knows, man? Only time will tell if it actually works out the way it needs to or not. But yeah, like I said, it's just it was just really weird in general. Very off-putting for sure. I don't know why people think they need to be, you know, creeping around your place as what it is there when they could just fuck off as what it is. So, but anyway, for those interested, I will be in the comment section for the Nightmare Hunters podcast here in about 30 minutes or so. I'll be listening to those guys. I'm not sure what they're talking about tonight, cryptid-wise. I'm sure it's something crazy, but who knows? It's hard to say anymore with them dudes. I know they recently brought up the whole containment zones and like, what do you call it? Yeah, it's like different zones that exist out there, whatever the case be, in different parts of America, from Delta to Echo, etc. there. And it's most likely what our government's doing to keep these things in their wraps is what it is then. So, which I don't trust anything going on right now with our government, especially when you got all these different even state governments trying to bring back like various big animals and stuff like that, and then being like, oh, you can't hunt these things, whatever the case be. And it's like, so why are you introducing the population? What are you trying to feed, bro? Very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. So, but yeah, it's just very odd in general. So, but yeah, on that note though, that's where I'm at for the day. I will be back sometime Friday afternoon, probably Friday afternoon, Friday evening, somewhere in there for Freedom Friday. I'm not sure exactly what time I'll be doing stuff yet. I need to go do a couple things. I'm actually really pissed because I don't know if it was an old light bulb that we had put in here or if it was a new one that I got in last year when I moved in here. My cousin, he ended up getting on, and I realize now he actually got on like a stool that I had to be able to screw the stuff in because neither one of us could reach the ceiling from our height because it's too tall is what it is there. But there is a light in my bedroom there that goes straight to the walls, what it is there. It's like a little bit of an overhead light there is what it is. And unfortunately, that didn't have a really good light bulb in it to begin with when I moved in there. And then we were fooling around with a bunch of different ones. And I don't know if it was one of the ones that was taken out of the vanity that's in there in the bathroom that was then put into the overhead light, or if it was a brand new one that I had gotten and put up there. But either way, at some point between last night and this morning, it was fine last night, / this morning I walked in there because I flipped it on and then flipped it off is what it is. And then literally when I got up from bed this afternoon, I went to go flip it on for some retarded ass reason. It like was really dim out, and I'm like, wait, is it dying? What the fuck's going on here? And then, yeah, sure enough, like I kept trying to turn it back on, back off is what it is then, and it was like really low lim, like super dim is what it is then. And then eventually, like when I flipped it on about an hour or two ago, it was just completely dead now is what it is. So I'm guessing it just needs changed out is what it is then. Which unfortunately I can't do that because I have no footstool to get myself up there, and I have no way to actually change it without getting, help with somebody else is what it is then. So hopefully my cousin will be here in the next day or so and can help me do that is what it is then. And then because of that, I obviously then went on to Amazon and I got the light I have sitting over here right now that lights up this room for these streams. I bought another one of those then to put in there is what it is then. I already have a light in there as well that was like a Walmart, like $20, $30 light, whatever it is there, for like a table light. The problem with that one is it has like the secondary one off of it, and it's just more of a pain in the ass than it is to be good when I'm trying to sleep in the bed. There is what it is. So that was basically the reason why I got rid of. I'm gonna not get rid of, but I will simply move that one around is what it'll be then, and then go from there with that is what it is. So, but yeah, it'll definitely be a change up for sure, and we'll do a few different things there is what it'll be. So, but yeah, right now it's just a matter of getting this new one in come a couple days from now is what it is then, and then setting that up and getting everything to go is what it is then. So, but yeah, needless to say, what needs to be said at the end of this stream here is that don't come randomly like creeping around at people's doors, dude, and like knocking like a weirdo. Like, if you're gonna knock on a door, like actually knock on a door. Don't just like weirdly tap on a door like you're some fucking creep or whatever. Because I'm gonna assume you're some fucking creep is what it is then, and call you out as a fucking creep at that point. So, yeah, don't be creeping, man. Don't be creeping. That's what you said about the end of the day. Because if you're gonna creep, you're gonna be treated like a creep, and especially when you're coming around, you know, right before dark is what it is there. Because I don't know if you're trying to case my place or if you're just trying to be some new guy moving in and, like I said, potentially, you know, registered offender or whatever the case be or something, or if it's just some random thing where you're just doing like, you know, signature collecting for some ballot initiative or something like that that I don't know about. So, but either way, it's like, yeah, maybe don't fuck around, and you're probably not going to find out is what it is there. So, but anyway, like I said, that will be back on Friday, Freedom Friday. I'll actually do a Slice and Boy Saturday this week. I'll discuss a few things actually while I'm still here. I will actually discuss a Flessa that I picked up recently. This is about 2-3 weeks ago. I got this one in. It's pretty nice. I got a similar one of this before. It was a black coloration. This one is a green button lock. You can also flip it too as well like that. So it's pretty nice. It's like a drop point. So I believe this was on sale at the time for like 13 or 14, I think is what it was. So it was one of those deals you really couldn't pass up. And that's, by the way, this is how any of these should go, is what it is. You should easily be able to flip open like that and then easily drop close like that. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these companies is they're either over their pivot points where they're screwing it like one too many times or whatever, or they're just not oiling it enough. And I'm not sure which one it is there, but Flessa has it nailed down though, for sure. The people that work for them do. Because the shit is perfectly aligned the way it needs to be is what it is there. So, but anyway. So, yeah. On that note, that's what I'll be out for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and I will see y'all in the next one. Like I said, I'll be back for Freedom Friday. We'll do Slice of Boy Saturday. We'll discuss more on that Flessa knife and a few other knives too, for that matter, that I've gotten in the past couple weeks now is what it is. And I'm probably going to do a comparison for that Saturday stream of N690 versus CM154, because those are the two newest blade steels I've gotten now recently that were a little bit more expensive than they should have been, but in the same aspect of things, I think they're worth it for what I paid for them. So, and they're just very nice knives in general. So, anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and think I'm debating right now if I want to just do something with my air fryer or if I want to do a pizza right now. I kind of want pizza, honestly, but I don't really feel like cooking the pizza is what it is, because it would take like anywhere from like a half hour to 40 minutes to get my oven to heat up to the temperature it needs to be, versus the air fryer. I can just go to the freezer, grab something out, throw it in the air fryer, put it on the fryer for like 20 minutes or something, and then be good to go. By the way, I figured out with my air fryer the other day, the Eckert smoked sausages that they have now that are like the bake, it's like a cheddar one or whatever. Do not put those over 20 minutes in those air fryers because they will definitely overcook. It's interesting though, because the casing on the Johnsonville ones, it needs about 18 to 20 minutes, give or take, there, versus these Eckrich ones, they're probably more like a 15-minute one, give or take, is my guess. So at least now I know that in the future to not like overcook the shit. So, but yeah, I'm debating if I want to do some of those right now, if I want to go and do like maybe some sausage links that have to sit in the fridge still, and then like some onion rings or something, maybe as a mix there or something. Like it all just depends. I need to eat some fruit too, is what it is. So I might just do some fruit with that too as well. So, but yeah, it just sucks that my light went out today, because now I have other lights obviously in the bedroom, but it's just more pain in the ass to turn those ones on what it is there. So, but yeah, hopefully when I can get this other one in like this one, I'll just have my second remote. That's what it is, and I can just go like that. And then I don't know if it would actually work on that one in there then, when I have that one set up too or not, or if it would be a situation where it'd be a pain in the ass or whatever to do that then. So I'll probably leave a remote in there for that one then, is what it is. And hopefully it doesn't also control this one if that be the case then, because that would suck. But yeah, it is what it is. So, but yeah, needless to say, like, if you value your life as an individual, like, don't knock on people's doors right before sunset, dude. Like, you just come off looking suspect as fuck, is what it is. Like, if you're gonna do solicitation or whatever the case be, or inform people of something or whatever the case be, like, do it in the middle of the afternoon, dude. Do it at like 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't be doing it like, 6, 7 at night is what it is there. Because that's just stupid. That's a good way to get killed is what it is. So, unfortunately, we've tended to see that a lot with people recently. There was a story the other day where it was some random woman. She worked for I believe it was some part of the government. I can't remember if it was like a social worker type person or whatever it was, or if it was some kind of like other. I think maybe that's what it was. She was like a social worker type or whatever, and she had apparently gone to knock on some dude's door. And I'm not sure if it was a dude or if it was a chick's door or whatever that she was supposed to be knocking on. But apparently she had knocked on the wrong address door is what it is there. So it could have been a complex like this one where it was like, like instead of knocking on like B, she knocked on A, or instead of knocking on A, she knocked on, C or something like that, what it is or something. But either way, it was a situation where she had knocked on the wrong door, whatever the case be. And I don't know what this dude's deal was, but he was some crazy motherfucker, some crazy black dude who apparently decided he just wanted to blow her away as it was then. And that's what he did. He killed her. And is now facing first-degree murder charges for it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, But this is the problem with our society right now, is what it is, dude. You got people that are all crazy like that, and you never know who's going to be, the most insane. The most insane is what it is. So, it's just a sad situation all the way around is what it is, dude. Because some, woman knocked on the wrong door that now she's, lost her life for no reason at all is what it is, because some crazy motherfucker want to be some crazy motherfucker. But at the same time, it's like, again, like, announce yourself, dude. Like, because that was the thing too, with even with that guy being like, like not like randomly like tapping on my doors, what it is, dude. Be like, if nothing else, be like, hey, it's your neighbor, or whatever the case be, or even just wait for somebody to come to the door, whatever the case be, and then just, say who you are then. Because that was the thing with me, like with that neighbor guy Charles the other day when I went to go knock on his door. Because that was when I had the toilet clog issues, what it was there. And I was asking him, I was like, hey man, like I made sure to like stay there is what it was, but I also made sure to like knock loud enough. Like I was like kind of like that is what it was, but it was like a little bit louder, not even. So versus this dude today, it was like that kind of tapping is what it was. So yeah, it's just weird. And again, like it makes me hella suspicious of this dude that came knocking around my door is what it was. If he wasn't like some kind of offender, whatever the case be, because why would you knock so lightly unless you're, not wanting people to answer is what it is then. So I don't know. It just feels highly suspicious what it is though. But like I said, I'll go and talk to Charlie then here in the next day or so is what it is, and see if he caught the dude on his cameras and knows who the fuck this guy is or whatever the case be, and like what his deal was. So. But yeah, needless to say, like as far as I'm aware, it was a black dude. Probably, if I had to guesstimate age, I would say somewhere between 25 and 30. Had dreadlocks about to probably right here, give or take, maybe a little bit, maybe right at shoulder length, and then the dreadlocks themselves were like a weird like dark brown coloration, like he had gotten them colored or something like that's what it was there. So, and of course, when I looked out there, he was just, fucking around his phone as what it was there. And that's why I don't think he saw me when I popped my curtain back for a couple seconds then. So, or if he did, like, who gives a shit? Because then he just left as what it was then. So, but like I said, when I saw him walking from the opposite side there, where the sidewalk is there, a few minutes after that, he definitely had some kind of what looked like a clipboard or something in his hand. Some kind of, I'm seriously wondering if he wasn't signature gathering for something, but at the same time, like again, like why are you doing it weirdly and suspiciously at like, near dark is what it is. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me being paranoid, or maybe I'm just overly cautious. Who knows? But either way, I don't really care anymore. Like my thing is I'd rather be paranoid and alive than, God forbid, open my door to the wrong person, and now I'm just dead, because fuck that shit. So, but anyway. But yeah, on that note, we're about 10 minutes to Nightmare Hunters podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on this one, and we will be over there, or I'll be over there, chiming in every so often on a Little Laced Anarchy account. So for those that haven't heard, I'm going to bring that up real quick before we leave today. Brandon Herrera is now in a runoff for the congressional seat that piece of shit Tony Gonzalez illegally stole 2 years ago. I cannot believe that people still voted for that jackass after him literally offing his staffer. Like, he didn't directly off her, obviously, but he had an affair with her and did stuff to her enough to where she eventually took her own life is what it is there. And the fact that he was even still allowed in Congress after that is just absolutely slap in the face, dude. So really, hopefully Brandon can just win that runoff is what it is. Then you got Ken Paxton's in a runoff for the U.S. Senate race against current piece of shit John Cornyn. Paxton needs to win that race. You had that James Trefelico, however you pronounce his fucking name there, the commie piece of shit there in Texas, who was in their state house, who actually was in the state house and missed, like, I think it was like 450 something votes is what it is there, which, again, how the fuck are you still in power after that, bro? Like, I don't understand how you're even allowed to run for anything at that point, and how you're even still in office when you've missed like 400 plus votes from the state legislature. Like, how are you still allowed to? How are you still allowed to hold office at that point? Honestly, is beyond me. If anything, Texas needs to update their fucking laws at that point then for that kind of stuff. But yeah, he apparently beat Crockett's piece of shit ass then, which is funny. So, ironically, neither one of their piece of shit asses should even be on that damn ballot to begin with, what it is there. But hopefully, it'll be a situation where he can easily get smashed out by Paxton come the generals, what it is then. Because Ken Paxton is not where primary John Cornyn. Like, I would say Texas is still fucked, but it's even more fucked if it would potentially flip to a Democrat, if that'd be the case then. So, and it really shows, like, why we need to get rid of illegals in this fucking country is what it is then, dude, because they're obviously voting in our elections. I don't care how much election integrity you put in place there, dude. Like, unless you're doing legit election audits every single time now, there's no way that you can sit there and tell me that we're not having election interference in our society right now is what it is, dude. So, but anyway, it's hard to say anymore how things are going to go. I think we're just definitely seeing a shift in stuff that is not good at all for anybody right now, especially not Americans. And I think the longer we go in this timeline of everything right now, it's just going to get worse and worse as time goes by, that we're not dealing with these things the way they need to be dealt with accordingly. So, anyway, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I'm going to get something to eat and hopefully be able to actually do some things before too much else happens. Here's what it is then. So, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying. Always have multiple weapons in your vicinity when you're at your home, within reach or within, grabbing distance of anywhere is what it is, whether it be a gun, a knife, pepper spray, etc., which I think I'm going to start setting up. That's one thing I have not set up yet on my bookshelf, which I probably should do that right now, I think is what it is, which I think I'm going to do that in a little bit. Here's what it'll be. I'm going to take one of the little cans of OC that I have now, that I bought off Amazon here a month or two ago, as it was, and just set that up on my bookshelf. There's what it is. So if nothing else, if something happens, like if I don't feel like grabbing my gun or whatever the case be to answer the door to somebody, I'll just have that in my hand or whatever the case be. If somebody tries some shit, I'll just be, pop and then and just be a big old mist of OC in their face is what it is then. So, because that way it would be technically non-lethal, but it would also be me being able to, save myself from potential threats to my life is what it is then. So, and of course the fucking stupid trains are coming through again now. I swear to God, dude, they really need to get their schedule off, because this is probably about the 140th one or so that's come through in the last 3 days or so now. It's just ridiculous. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact there was a week or so ago now, there was one of the trains that was a Norfolk Southern train again, which how the fuck they're still in business after the whole East Palestine thing is beyond me at this point. But yeah, there's another Norfolk Southern train that came through this area and ended up derailing a little bit. Like, I don't know if it was the metal tire things that are on the train cars, if that's what came loose on it or what it was. But either way, it derailed off a little bit there, and it took like almost an entire day for them to figure it out and get it back together is what it was then. And yeah, since then we basically have had this crazy train backup now is what it is. So it's a real pain in the ass all the way around. So anyway, I just need to get to a place that's way more quiet than this place is what it is, dude, because I swear to God, I'm just going to go insane here if I have to live here much longer. So I also need to start working on my book too, for that matter, about the piece of shit that used to live next to me here, what it was. As my sister pointed out to me the other day, she's like, yeah, make sure not to use his name in that book, because I can't sue you or whatever the case be. I'll probably just call him like Daryl or something if that be the case. So, but yeah, that guy was a real fucking piece of shit in general. And I'm not gonna lie, like, having lived here now for see, January, like 3 months now, pretty much, without him being there and nobody being there at all. Like, dude, it is so much better. So, unfortunately, it's not going to last. There's going to be somebody moving in there eventually, so it'll be a situation where hopefully whoever moves in will be very quiet and not be, you know, a jackass or whatever then. If I'm lucky, it'll be some hot girl that's, you know, into big guys. So, but who knows, man. One thing I will say about it, though, is that I will definitely be getting to know that person immediately when they move in and setting down some ground rules while I'm still here is what it is then. And just be like, hey, I do streams on Tuesday nights from this time to this time. Like, deal with it. I've been doing it since before you got here, and I'm going to be doing it after you're here now. So, I need to know what the score is, basically. So, but anyway. Because the truth of the matter is, really, it is the person that's here. The earliest technically has the right of way, unless they're just being an ass, is what it is. Which I really think the only reason that this fuckface Don at least live here, I think the only reason he was able to get away with what he got away with was because Charlie has bad hearing in his one ear and didn't hear Don's bullshit all the times when it is there. But yeah, like with me being right here and then him having like his, I don't know if it was his TV right there behind the walls, what it was or what it was there. But yeah, it was just super annoying either way. And like, it's one thing if you're gonna, you know, game at like 2:30 in the afternoon or something like that, dude. It's a whole other story when you're gonna do that same shit at like 2:30 in the fucking morning and then make loud ass fucking phone calls to your buddies and stuff like that at the same time period as well. Acting like you're fucking whatever. It's like you're gonna, and that was the thing. Like that dude could have easily, like, especially the times that he was doing that stuff, he could have easily walked his fucking ass outside, gone to his little fucking 1990s hoopty is what it is there, sat in the fucking car and had a phone call outside. There's what it is at that time period and at the night. But instead, he wanted to be an asshole, and then wondered why I was calling the cops on him. And it's like, yeah, it's not that hard to figure out, bro. Like, maybe shut the fuck up, you know? So, yeah, even just thinking about it now pisses me off. Because that dude basically took 300 days of my sleep is what it is, man, almost. And, yeah, when you have somebody that's already in kind of a depressive state and you're, you know, sleep depriving them, then like that dude's real lucky I didn't just open fire through the fucking wall at that point, dude. But then again, I'm also not a fucking YN piece of shit, so, or just some N in general that has no impulse control whatsoever is what it is there, and I was able to just, you know, take it on the chin and be like, hey, I actually have options here. So, which the option was, hey, local PD, like, this dude's breaking noise ordinances, please come deal with this. And they did, for a little bit anyway. Unfortunately, they didn't do it long enough as what it was, so. I'm sure he fucked up again, though, and that's probably what it is now. I'm sure he's probably sitting in county jail right now, honestly. I should probably go look up one of these days soon and see if that's where he's at now. Or if he is just like, I mean, my only other guess would be the fact he's been evicted out of this place now. And when you have evictions on your record, like, nobody's going to take you. So I'm guessing he's either in county jail, sleeping on somebody's couch, or potentially he would be living in a storage unit, is what it is now, which would not surprise me either. And I know that was a big thing down in Columbus when I was living down with my sister there, is what it was, because there was so few places for people to live that were affordable down there because of all the little aliens down there and stuff, that you had people literally going and buying or I should say not buying, they were going and renting the indoor climate controlled storage units and then proceeding to turn around and live in them is what it was, which is all well and good as long as you can get away with that. But the problem is like once people figure out that you're living in them, it's obviously a hazard for the owner of the business, and they're not going to let you stay there is what it is then. So, because mostly I think it's a, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's considered a fire hazard if it's, I believe that was one of the reasons that was given for that. And then I believe there was also, it has to do with like sanitation laws and stuff like that's what it is there. Because they have, obviously those places have like a working like bathroom in them is what it is. But there's no way for you to like, keep cleaning that area is what it is there. Or have like drinking water or whatever the case be there. So, not to mention, God forbid you have like firearms, then you're going to catch a bunch of charges then when they find you in there. So yeah, that's one of the things I would never want to do. Obviously, if I was living in those kind of deals like that, because you basically have no rights at all in them places then. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like we could easily fix the affordable housing situation in this country if we just started booting out a bunch of third world trash that doesn't need to be here in the first place. Is what it is, man. Whether it be a bunch of Indian foreign nationals, whether it be a bunch of Islam, whether it be a bunch of fucking actual illegals, etc. there. But unfortunately, people don't want to do what needs to be done to actually deal with the problems that is there. So, and until we get people in the power that will deal with that stuff, we're going to have to basically take on the chin again is what it is there. So, anyway. But on that note, it's after 8 o'clock now. I'm going to go watch the Nightmare Hunters podcast and go from there. Like I said, I'll be back Friday, probably mid to late afternoon for Freedom Friday. Plan right now for Fridays, I'm going to go finally get my license changed to this place so I can actually vote and then actually go to a gun shop and buy some firearm stuff is what it is there, which I don't think I'm going to do that right away just because I don't think it would be through the system right away. I'll probably wait like a week or so, give it 7 days or whatever there, so we catch up then, and then we can go from there and go to local places. What it'll be, and I'll go. Well, my plan right now is I'll probably go to the chiropractor that day too, and then on the way back from the chiropractor, I will just simply hit up the gun shop and then go and get some stuff that I want to get. That's what it is, so I can finally have. My plan right now is I was actually looking at several different guns, but really the big one is I want to get a couple lowers for my current uppers that I just have sitting around that I haven't got a chance to do anything with since I moved in here last year. So if something does pop off, I'd like to have at least 4 functioning ARs anyway. Because at least then I could, arm a couple other people in the complex that I could trust. And then go from there. So, which at this point between Mickey, Randy, and Charles, I trust all 3 of those guys, obviously, enough to where I would be able to hand off a gun to them and assume they're not going to shoot me in the back with this, what it is, obviously. But yeah, there's some other people here that I don't really fully trust. So I would at least have enough to arm up those dudes, and we could be, kind of a squadron if that be the case. If we needed to be that way. But, of course, that would obviously be under the assumption that we would have to be forming something together to, keep control. Law and order, here's what it is then, or whatever. So, but anyway, that's about it for tonight, though. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be situationally aware. Never open your door to random strangers without having some kind of weapon with you, etc., etc. So, later, y'all. I'll see y'all on Friday. Peace out.